I already gave him his warning. Fight like your life depends on it, because it does.
Trouble looms as things start to get really heated between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul as the fight date gets closer. Just recently, rumors circulated that Jake was trying to pull out of the match, which garnered enough attention from the fans and turned the tables around for Jake as he was tagged as a coward for going back on his words. Oh well. It seems Jake doesn't want to be seen as a coward anymore, so he's doing the next best thing to still participate in the fight. Y'all should brace yourselves, because Jake's action to still be able to go on with the match is shocking, and at the same time, unacceptable in the world of sports. Everyone is familiar with how word goes around whenever an athlete's body build and behavior changes. There are always talks of the athlete getting involved with the usage of PEDs. Oh yeah, you heard that right. The usage of PEDs is quite common among athletes for different purposes. If you're finding it hard to understand, let's say PEDs are steroids or drugs that enhance the performance of athletes. So when the news of Jake Paul using PEDs to help improve his performance in his match against Mike Tyson went viral, that got a lot of people talking. Brief pause. Even Tyson had something to say.
Speaking of bumps,
went right over it.
Those little bumps you had on your face kind of alarmed me. You wouldn't be happy to taking PEDs, are you?
Listen, if you want to build in excuses right now,
No, I'm just asking.
go ahead.
Because I was just wondering, I looked at
ahead.
your face, it looked kind of serious. You had some rage and you acting all unorthodox, those are signs of the PEDs.
I'm enraged. I'm not enraged at all.
Are you taking PEDs?
No, sir.
Not at all. Okay.
No, sir.
That's
you think
what
he's
I
on
feel like.
PEDs?
I don't care.
Okay, before you think people are just accusing Jake Paul of using steroids to beat Tyson when they meet, his recent physique has been suspicious. Even professional trainers doubt if that could result from only his training sessions. Jake's physique aside, his behavior has been somewhat questionable during interviews and other gatherings. Jake is known to be a big talker and a bit erratic, but his defensive mode when questioned about certain things has gone from a 0 to 100. Jake immediately goes overboard and always finds the need to make what any interviewer says seem like garbage. With a disrespectful tone, he cuts off any conversation that tilts towards the subject. But common Jake, everyone can see the newly ripped muscles and veins popping out, and folks say that can't be from training. Anyway, speculations can be made. Jake wouldn't be the first athlete that would be accused of using steroids to make his game better. But here's the problem on Jake's case. Folks are calling Jake out to do a drug test, but Jake is yet to accept the idea. So there goes the confirmation of the accusation that Jake may just be guilty of drug use. Anyway, speculations can be made. Jake wouldn't be the first athlete that would be accused of using steroids to make his game better, but here's the problem on Jake's case. Folks are calling Jake out to do a drug test, but Jake is yet to accept the idea. So there goes the confirmation of the accusation that Jake may just be guilty of drug use. Jake is claiming he's clean, but at the same time, he doesn't want to do the test, so how is anyone going to believe him? Only Jake can have the answer to that. Still, people on social media are saying Jake is trying so hard to live up to the hype he has been making about himself, hence his reason for opting for steroids when he realized he couldn't face Tyson with an ordinary body. Oh yeah, Jake really did go above and beyond when he was hyping himself that he would put Tyson in his place. And by putting Tyson in his place, Jake meant that Tyson was getting old and wouldn't be able to match up to the 27-year-old's speed and strength.
It's been 4 years in this sport, and I've done more to it than any boxer in the history of the sport. So in due time, sir, I will be fighting for a world championship, and I will be shutting you the f*** up and making you eat your own words, just like the rest of these f***ing punks.
Well, Jake might have a point. Tyson is about to clock 58, and his age may play a big factor in his sharp skill. But no one should get carried away because this is Mike Tyson. Tyson's strategic ability to defeat even the best of fighters wasn't formed on bare strength. Tyson has the skill set to defeat just any opponent, regardless of his age. So Jake's supposed advantage might just not work the way he thinks it would. And as it stands, it seems Jake himself has realized that point.
My whole life becomes this training camp and this moment, and eating a lot of food as well to gain weight because Mike is looking mighty thick.
The rumor gets more intense as Jake is hell-bent on not taking a test. It even gets more serious as another hotshot in the sport, which Jake has once accused of using steroids, enters the conversation. In his words, he wouldn't mind getting tested continuously for years for the world to see he's not using, so he wants Jake, who has accused him of doing the same thing if indeed he hasn't been using steroids, to help him get his game up.
Jake, you never responded to the challenge. You publicly stated that I use cocaine. I do not. So I told you could randomly cocaine test me for the next 10 years. I believe that you're a cheater, and I believe that you use steroids. So I want to randomly steroid test you.
Even Tyson himself isn't cool with Jake not doing the test because it would be considered cheating. Tyson already said he was going to sue Jake if he pulled out of the match, and now Jake is allegedly soliciting for another solution. Oh well. This solution isn't the best one, but it may be in Jake's book. Word on the street is that Jake is scared, not only because he may end up losing to Tyson, but also because he may survive a terrible injury. The YouTuber turned fighter hasn't had many experiences to go head-to-head with the likes of Mike Tyson.
I saw him with his shirt off the other day. He's fat. I thought, did you start training already?
Even fighters with decades of experience wouldn't dare to name Tyson as their opponent. But since Jake felt it would be a good idea for him, and sponsors and organizers also thought it would be a good opportunity to make a good amount of money, everyone accepted the idea with open arms. Unfortunately, only Jake will be left in the ring with the heavyweight champion. No one will be there to help him or control Tyson's rage when he enters his full potential of throwing calculated punches to knock out Jake, which might be what Jake is scared of. So here goes the question of what he thought when he started the whole thing. Professionals in the sport are claiming that even if Jake is on steroids, he still doesn't guarantee his victory in the ring because Tyson's punching power is ridiculous. Folks are even saying it may be the best idea for Jake. Tyson is a sleeping giant that isn't meant to be messed with at all, but Jake woke him up, so the consequences of that won't be nice on Jake. Anyway, Tyson may still be able to defeat Jake even with his alleged use of steroids to get ahead in the match, but he isn't cool with the cheating factor. In Tyson's generation, a fighter had to put in their sweat and blood to fight their opponent, regardless of who their opponent was. They accepted their defeats respectably, and were barely interested in cutting through corners to win a match. But now, Tyson is witnessing how times have changed, and how some fighters hate to lose. The fighter in question is no other than Jake Paul. He isn't ready to lose and also not ready to be tagged a coward, so he thinks he's doing the right thing by allegedly cheating his way through the game. But will Jake be able to get away with it? That's uncertain for now because the situation is already very complicated. Officials won't allow the match to happen if there are misconduct allegations. And with the way the news of Jake allegedly using PEDs has gone viral, Jake may have to take the drug test to confirm his innocence and go ahead to compete with Tyson. So here lies the important question. What if the test result returns positive? Will everything that has been put in place go down the drain? Or will the organizer have to find a suitable replacement to take over the job? That's also a tricky one because who is ready to compete with Tyson? Without enough training or mental preparation, it's hard to find anyone interested enough to go through with it. Even when Amir Khan, a former British fighter, accepted to be involved in the match, he never mentioned he would face Tyson. Instead, Khan claimed he would be interested in taking Tyson's place and fighting against Jake. No one would be willing to take the gig, even if it would put their name up there. Before we get lost in the details, there's also the other question. What if the test comes back negative? Well, this part will practically make everything easy and go as planned. But folks doubt that the test will return negative due to Jake's attitude towards the drug test. People feel if he isn't guilty, he would have accepted to take the test from day one, even if it is to prove to people that he's clean and sober. Tyson's eyes are set on the prize, or rather, he's interested in squashing the talks once and for all about his age being a problem for his skill. Tyson is ready to put it all behind him and tell the folks of this recent generation that it's not about one's age. It's about the mindset. And to even top it all off, Jake Paul isn't ready for some fighters who have not achieved what he had accomplished. Not to mention Jake thinking he can face him and win. However, don't let us all get ahead of ourselves. Tables may turn, and the ring may favor Jake, but it is not so feasible. Sentiments and emotions aside, if it is to pull the cards or achievement and a better skill set in throwing punches and turning them into wins, Tyson is taking the win. Jake's supporters are caught up in the wind of anything can happen, and Jake can do the impossible. But the critics are saying otherwise and responding to Jake's fans that boxing is not a game of luck. It is a critical skill that includes the craft of calculating how to throw efficient punches and where they land on the opponent. And the truth is that it is that particular aspect that Tyson has over Jake, and that's the important aspect of the match. Not about their ages, as Jake was betting his hopes on. However, when Jake realized that age might just be a number, he settled in with speed as his advantage. According to Jake, he's fast enough to dodge Tyson's punches, so he would easily maneuver getting hit by Tyson. Jake thinks Tyson can only hit an opponent he can catch in a static position so that he will escape any damage Tyson could do to his body. Okay, Jake, that will only be good as you say if it works. But if it doesn't work, game over. Jake's hope lies in something that isn't feasible, but never say never. No one knows what the result will be at the end of the day. Anyway, whether Jake can be fast enough to dodge the punches or not, folks still need an answer to the question of whether he's using steroids or not. The answer to the question is the only way Jake can confirm his speed abilities on the ring with Tyson. He has to do a drug test to prove he's clean and can go through with the match, as it has been slated for July 20th, 2024. The clock is ticking, and the world is watching to know if Jake is indeed a real competitor or otherwise. Will Jake prove his critics wrong, or will his fans succumb to embarrassment if the test comes out positive? We will have to wait to find out. So, do you think Jake would have truly been using PEDs to enhance his chances in the upcoming fight? Or do you think folks are just circulating fake news to put Jake Paul in a bad light? Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and turn on post notifications so you don't miss out on boxing news updates.